So, on Thursday, it got up the nominations for the 1998 Academy Award, or as many people just know as the Oscars. Good. Now, because this was an interesting lineup. No, of course we had 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 the ones we expected. To like, to it like we expected to. Citizen One Battle After Another would probably get the most nominations. We did it. I think we all predicted to it all of the best animated features. July lineups, notes, notes as well as predicting that K-pop demons will get a best animated feature and a best original or song nomination for Golden. Then, and we all predict that. We all predict that at least one of the best visual effects nominations would be Avatar: Fire and Ash. And I think I think we already know that all the films in the category, that will be the one to win it. But there was another film in that category, or that I was just baffled about, and that was The Lost Bus. This is a film that was based on a true story. And I'm not gonna say I had no little interest. I didn't really see much of the trailers for this film. And when I didn't really hear too much people talk about it, until on Thursday, when this film, it was surprisingly got the nomination for Best Visual Effects. And honestly, that baffled me. I barely saw any clip of it for this movie, so I had no idea how good the visual effects were. So I was like, really? Out of all the films they could pick, they went for that one? Like I'll give it to another one for baffling nomination for Jurassic World Rebirth. But after that was definitely a baffling one, and he decided to choose who's to pick. But that was a film that had some really stunning visuals, which were the facts. And well, I wasn't really too bothered about that one being not nominated because it was a really good looking movie. But The Lost Bus on the other hand, it seems like one of the most baffling Oscar nominations I had seen in a long time. And since this year I decided I did watch all the different Oscar nominations that I've yet to see, I knew I had to check this one out. See, why did it deserve that nomination? So I gave The Lost Bus a watch. Now for this review, I'm mainly going to be focusing on its category that it was nominated for. But I will quickly go over my thoughts on the rest of the film before I get into that category and to the visuals. Also, I do think the film has a really good story structure. It's a simple rescue mission type story, or where this bus driver has to get as his bus full of school all kids in a team, each to a place during a massive grass fire, that's affect to the local town. But if think it did a really good job of tension, you could really feel the tension. Feel how intense the situation is that the characters are in. And I knew very little about the real life story, so a part of me was really hoping that the characters would get out of the situation, mainly because I grew to love the main bus driver character. But I'll say now that most of the characters are a bit are one of the film's weakest aspects. So I didn't really care for much of them. And with the exception of Evan's mom, I really didn't like Kevin's family. But I'll say that Kevin himself was a pretty good character, as you can see his determination to not only get the kid is through the situation, but to make things up with his distant son. And sure, all the characters of the film wasn't some one I really like, especially with how he treated that at the beginning. But I do understand Kevin's determination, and he was as other characters. Well, I was rooting for him to succeed. He also didn't mind the butters. Also didn't mind the team. Each of them I was with him, where even though she didn't have much personality, and later, I guess they tried to make it like the love interest or something. She was still a decent character for what the film it was trying to portray. Hey, so it does seem like this would be a really good movie. So what holds it back? Well, there is way too much filler. Look, I guess once to show different events that happened about and when the fire was spreading, but I'm just gonna be honest. Those moments were necessary. We didn't really need but a shot God and its map, and I just keep trying to get connections to Kevin, Evan, and and seeing how we if Kevin's gonna get through, and we definitely didn't need either the group get debating if they should keep fighting this fire. You're all set as the citizens that are trapped. It's on. One of the films that really wants to pad out the runtime, and it's noticeable. I don't mind them showing these elements, but I do feel like the film focused way too much on those elements to the point. I felt annoyed when we were taking away from the main story, or with Evan in the bus trying to get through the fire. If its full attention was on the fire, and the film was short, film lost about 30 minutes, and I do think I would have liked this film a lot more. But I think instead decided to pad out the runtime with it as much fun as they did. It did stop me getting fully invested with the feature. Oh yeah, and I guess we should talk about the category this film. It was nominated for best visual effects. Did this one really deserve to be nominated for the visuals? Well, after seeing the film for myself, even if this would definitely not be the one I picked, I can understand why the Academy decided to choose this one. There are some really great shots that the film does with the fire. I especially like when we shot. I like the shot in the beginning when they shot how the grass fire started. And as we see, the fire brigade took on attack the fire with all the smoke that was around the area. We show on how tough this fire can be. And on top of that, at the scenes about Kevin's trying to get the bus through the fire, it really does add a lot of tension to the feature. And the fire effects look fantastic. Making some of the more action-packed scenes is quite engaging and seeming like the highlights of the feature. However, while I am starting to understand why this one was nominated, I'm still baffled because there were so many other visually amazing films that were released this year. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I have no problem with this being nominated. In fact, one thing I really like about the Best Visual Effects category is that it's not usually for with films that get nominated for Best Picture, and usually they focus on the films that have the biggest visual impact. Like the films that definitely don't deserve to be Best Picture worthy, but the type that have some great visual effects. Acts that are seen as the best as the year. Yeah, the visuals in this one were really good, but I don't think this is one of those films that's good enough to be among the best visuals of the year. If it were up to me, I would have nominated one or two. That would have been 2 nominations. I would have gone on down to 2. Which one I would have picked? One of them would have been the Fantastic Four First Steps, because as out of all the Marvel films that were released in the multiverse saga, it's argued that this is definitely one of the best looking ones, as well as one of the best looking Marvel films. Or Frankenstein, because that film had a fantastic visual flick. Add to it that really brought the film to life. I guess if I had to think of another for 5-1, I would have also gone for Predator Badlands. But those are just my opinions. And overall, I honestly thought the last Oscars was fine. The visuals were great, and it had a really good story, but I didn't really care too much for the characters, and the film was filled up with way too much filler. It's definitely worth watching at least once to say you've seen it, but you're not going to miss too much at all if you try to skip this one. It's definitely not a film that deserves to be lost, but it is definitely a film that's just mid at best, and that's why I'm going to give the film a 6 out of 10. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!